So now that we have our foundation on, we're going to go up to our first floor and we want to create our porch across here. So to do that, I'd like to add in my terrain. So we're going to go up to our terrain drop down and just simply create a terrain perimeter. And what that's done, if we zoom out here a bit, that's created a terrain perimeter right around. So that would essentially be our lot, representing our lot. And we can create our plot plan off of that. I'm just going to quickly bring over an example of a plot plan. So we're going to drag this into our view. So this is just an example of a full plot plan that's been done using our terrain tools. In this particular project, we imported in an AutoCAD format, a DXF format, terrain elevation data, and the program will automatically model that. So it brings in all these contour lines and it models the terrain so that you can get what's existing and then set your house on that existing terrain. And this is just an example of a full plot plan. Okay. So we're not going to get too particular in terms of our terrain at this point. And what I'm going to do is go down a level so we can take a look at our terrain. I'd like to click on that and we're going to adjust. Instead of automatically calculating our terrain, I'm going to change that to 24. So pad elevation 24, that's going to put the elevation of the terrain at 24 inches underneath the platform height of the first floor. So I've got 24 inches from my terrain to the platform height of my first floor. And that's going to reveal my foundation and get things set just about where I'd like. So let's add our covered porch. I'm going to go up to our railing tool and select that. And we're just going to pull a railing straight across. So by default, I'm going to get a deck. And if I zoom in here a little bit, we'll see that it's labeled as a deck room. And I'm going to click on it and dimension that. Let's call it 6 feet. And then I'm going to double click here. And we're going to change the type from a deck to a porch. And then we're going to go into the Structure tab. And we want to change the thickness of our slab for the porch. It's concrete. Instead of it being 4 inches, let's call it 24 inches. So the thickness of that will cover from our platform height of our door entrance to the ground level of our terrain below. I'll go ahead and click OK. OK. And then I want to double check that I have a roof over this room and a ceiling over this room so that it will supply that. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now I've got my porch and it's supplied our roof. So I'll have to create a post to beam configuration so that we have some support for that roof. So we do that by just selecting that railing that we put across here. And we can double click on it. And we'll go into the railing tab and we're just going to check that that's a post to beam. And while we're here, I noticed that the posts that we're using probably aren't as big as we'd like it to be. Let's go ahead and click OK just to get a visual idea of what that looks like. So here's our posts. So we probably want to make those a little bit bigger. So we can do that and we can get into lots of options just like we do for stairs for a railing on a deck or on a porch or a patio. We can go into our newels and balusters and we'll change our newel up top. Instead of 2 inches, let's make it 5.5. Make that a 6 by 6. And right now it's set for square. You can go into the library and choose from a huge number of various posts, newels, balusters, and railings, and so on. So we'll go ahead and stick with the default just to move along in our presentation. I'll click OK. So that's changed our posts here. And I'd like to add in some stairs quickly to go up to this porch before we move on. So I'll activate my stair tool, and we'll come down here and just click and drag some stairs up. Okay, and let's double click on that and make the stairs a bit wider. Let's call them 48 inches. And I think we're okay in terms of the rise and run of the stairs, so I'll click OK. But actually I'm noticing that I'd like these to be concrete, so we can set these stairs instead of being made and framed and appear that way. We can go into some options in terms of our style, and instead of it being open underneath and having open risers and having a tread overhang, we'll change that to 0. And our tread thickness we can change to 0 too. That really doesn't matter. So what that's going to do, if we click OK, it gives us a solid stair, so that now we can go up to our material painter. I'm going to pull our eyedropper tool. That pulls up the color of this concrete, and it's going to paste it onto our stairs. Then we'll paste it onto the top part as well, so we get a nice solid color there. I'm going to rotate that around just to make sure we've got everything. I missed a little section there, so we'll go ahead and paint that. And then we'll probably want to match our railings if we wanted them. I'll go ahead and use our eyedropper, and we'll change that as well. Okay. So that's looking like it's coming along pretty nicely.